Okay, let's make this pretty pink heart together. As a base today, we are using this very simple coat hanger that can easily be shaped into the heart, and we'll just attach a little bit of binding wire to get us ready. I'm now cutting up the misty. You can use a white, this is a light blue, followed by stirlingia. It's been preserved and dyed in this beautiful deep pink. I love it. We're also using this Australian daisy, a wonderful Australian native, in pink and white. We're now getting ready to bind all the materials onto half of our heart, starting at the top center and slowly working our way to the bottom center. So you try to have a nice even flow, binding the materials on firmly but not too strong, so you don't want to crush anything, especially the little daisies, the Rhodanthe. It's really quite delicate to work with. So I do recommend to always put a layer of the misty and stirlingia underneath before you then place the very delicate little daisies on top, ideally with their faces looking towards you, looking up a little bit. Coming to the end, leaving a little bit of room for when you come down from the other side, but certainly finishing off the binding wire properly so as there's no loose ends. It's time to do the second part, and I slowed this video down a little bit for you to show you how we attach the binding wire. A couple of times around the coat hanger, give it a really nice tight twist close to the coat hanger, and then finish off the loose end around the coat hanger. Then you have your binding wire ready to go, sitting there nice and secure. Flip it back over, so we're now coming down on the other side. Just feeding the materials in there nice and close so there's no gaps for you to start with. And you saw me just placing a little bit of misty down, followed by a little paper daisy. Sometimes you do one, sometimes you do two rounds of binding wire. It really depends on how everything sits. So here we go again with some misty, stirlingia. So those two materials you want to have sitting underneath before you place the paper daisies on top. And you might again just need a little bit more material at the top there where you have the bend. So I'm adding quite a bit of the base material before I add the flowers, because you certainly don't want to have the stronger stirlingia crushing down on the paper daisies. So once you have that structure in place, you can place a very delicate little flowers on top. They just look like they're dancing on top of the other materials there. 1 or 2 times around is normally enough to secure it, but I often do 2 because I don't want to do the first one too tight. So I might do a little bit looser, and then the second one I'll give it quite a good pull. It's beautiful. So now I'm just speeding it up a little bit again. You might decide to go off and make yourself a little cup of tea because it's been a while. So just continue on in the same way, alternating between the 3 materials. Or if you're using something else, that's fine too. I think baby's breath, dried or fresh, will be really nice for this one too. Of course, you can use bigger paper daisies as well. They just wouldn't have that same delicate feel. They can maybe take over a little bit. But if you do, please share. I would love to see that. So going all the way down. Fresh can be done as well. Of course, you can use fresh materials, but you have to allow for a little bit of shrinkage. So sometimes the materials become loose if you do a fresh one like this. And then if you're not 100% sure about the material, it might not last as well as you think. And you have the top of the coat hanger straightened out at the base. That's the back that I'm showing you now. Tying it on nice and firm, and we're using that little bit at the bottom to finish off the heart. So making sure everything is covered at the top, and then you're using that little bit of wire that you have left at the base to finish off your heart very nicely, and maybe just try to smooth over any little imperfections there at the base. When you're done, flip it over, have a little look, bit of zhuzhing, bit of straightening up. You can still manipulate the wreath, the heart rather, to a point, to be careful not to break anything. So I'm just snipping off the dry materials there, and that's your heart there from the back. So I'm having a little play here, trying to attach the ribbon at the base. But in the end, I decided I didn't quite like it there. So came back off, whoops. And so instead I decided to make a simple bow using some of the binding wire, attach the bow slightly off center, straight onto the heart like that. So that I thought was a much nicer look. And there you are, ready to take some beautiful shots, playing around with some filters, endless opportunities here. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.